And some guys you played with back here.
You know what? It's a great feeling to see all of your guys come back, and just their presence here is a big part of why this program is what it is. And to have them out there with these kids, to see these kids, how many times are you gonna ever see Andre Johnson or John Beeson and Ryan McKinney and all these guys who are some of the greatest college football players of all time. And to mingle with these guys, to see them out there watching you as a wide receiver, it's a tremendous thing. And it's part of why Miami's special, because I kind of feel as though we don't pay these guys to come back. They come back on their own. They're willing to give their time for the program. And that's one of the reasons why I came back. I came back to help this program get back to where it's supposed to be in the annals of college football. I want to be part of, helping get this program back to where it needs to be.
How important are these camps to you and the staff to kind of evaluate talent? How has that changed in the last few years?
Well, I think it's very important because in the NFL we get an opportunity to go to the combine. We get an opportunity to look at players. I can't give a grade on a player unless I see him live. You always have to see players live. And the more good players you get to come to these camps and be part of this and participate in, you get an opportunity to see them move around, see how they catch the football, see how they get off the ball, all those sort of things. So you get an idea of who that player is. Writing a player on film is only half the picture. The other half comes to live action.
How is this offseason different for you guys as a staff than last year when you first were getting here?
Yeah, when I first got here, I got here in June, so everything was new to me. I didn't know the coaches, they didn't know me. I didn't know Mario. Mario knew me, we knew of each other, and anytime you're putting a group of people of this magnitude together, it's a learning experience. It takes a while to build a great staff. It takes consistency, familiarity with all the people, and that's what we didn't have last year. And it was a tough year last year, but I think we'll be better for it. I think we all understand the task at hand and where we need to be as a program.
In terms of when you came in last year, I guess the roster was pretty much in place by then, but obviously you guys as staff are evaluating off film, like you said. How did it change when you were able to see the team play this year, get around in practice, to know what you guys needed to do this summer?
You really don't. When you first come into a situation like I came in last year, you don't know what you don't know. You're evaluating players. You haven't seen them play. You haven't seen them practice. I had never seen any of these guys on film before. So after going through a summer, going through a season, now getting into the roots of recruiting again and watching all these players again, you get to evaluate them against your team. And where I come from, I always evaluate based on what I see on our team. You develop what you need, where you need to get bigger, stronger, faster. Those positions is by being around. And you don't know that until you see them play. Well, I got an opportunity to see them play last year and saw the weaknesses and strengths of the team, and that's what we've been working on to get our team stronger.
I know you can't talk about specific players or anything like that, but when it comes to recruiting, it seems like June's become more and more important over the last few years, especially with this month. How does that change a staff strategy? How do you guys kind of strategize around having to do so much recruiting work in this month?
Well, one of the most important things for us at the University of Miami is getting players on campus. June is a huge month recruiting around the nation, and it's big for Miami. Miami has a lot to sell in June. There's a reason why people move to Florida. They want to be in Florida, and by being able to showcase the university in June, it gives the athletes a better picture of what Miami is, and that's why it's big.
You had a great career at Christopher Columbus, played some great football in South Florida. Who would you say are the top 5 greatest athletes to ever come out of South Florida?
Oh, man. See, that's a question you really can't give you an answer for because there's so many. All you got to do is look outside. You see Andre Johnson. You know what? I don't think we have enough time. If I give you 5, I give you 5 more, and then I can give you 5 more. We've been God blessed at the University of Miami. We have a lot of great athletes, as you can see out there on the field. And one of the greatest things Miami has is its location. People like coming to Miami. So for our players to come back to Miami, a lot of them live here in the community. A lot of them are still living in the state of Florida. To have them able to, we're not in Syracuse, we're not at BYU, we're not in Alabama. We're right. There's a direct flight to Miami. And when you say, hey, let's go to Miami, there's not a wife in America that doesn't say, I don't want to go to Miami. something like that. You go play football, I'll sit by the pool. So, I mean, yeah, that's the attraction to Miami.
You mentioned not really knowing Mario before you took this job. Just what was that process like? Were you guys watching a lot of film together? Like, how do you guys kind of build that mind meld?
Of course, I knew Mario from high school, and he went to school here, and we all go our separate ways. But I knew Mario from the recruiting trail. I've heard what a relentless recruiter is, his work ethic, and his dedication to building programs. And I had the opportunity to spend a great part of the day with him when he was at Alabama. And we sat and talked. He told me the structure of Alabama, why it's Alabama. And then I saw him go to Oregon. And then when he came to the University of Miami, he called me and we talked. And you know, I thought it was a no-brainer for myself. I love the University. I love the University of Miami, but I also love pro football. I enjoy pro football. That's who I was. Pro football, being part of scouting, developing in Green Bay, Cleveland, and Seattle. And when Mario gave me an opportunity to came back, I only came back because of Mario. I came back because of his work ethic, how relentless he is, and he understands what good players look like. He's been around great players, so it was a natural fit for me. The guy's tireless. The guy works his ass off every day to make this program better. And I'm convinced in this. All the great programs of Urban Meyers and Nick Saban's, they're relentless workers. And if you're not a relentless worker, you're not going to succeed in college football, especially with the recruiting, the coaching, and all that kind of stuff. And no matter what you may think of all the bells and whistles of it, the most important part of football is player acquisition. We have to bring in better players. In order for Miami to have an opportunity to play for a college national championship, we're going to have better players. And that's the goal of our team. That's the goal of every team in the nation. You got to get better players. And I think my strength is understanding what great players look like. I've been scouting in the NFL for 24 years. I've been to every combine for the last 24 years. I've been God blessed to have scouted the John Beesons, the Vilmas, and all these guys. So I understand what good players look like. Doesn't mean I'm always going to be right, but I think having known what it looks like, what it smells like, what great athletes look like running, I've seen it all. So I think coming back to college and watching high school tape, I've seen enough high school players. I understand now the college game better now than I did a year ago.
Because Brian McKinney was saying the same thing about Mario, that his best strength is he knows what good players look like.
Yep.
Do you guys, when you guys are in the room talking about a guy, are you guys always on the same page? Do you guys butt heads sometimes? Because I'm sure it's good to go both ways, right?
I think the most important thing I can do for Mario is give him my honest opinion.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear his opinion, and I have no problem saying yes or no to a player. Now, my goal isn't to be right. My goal is to give you what I've seen, size, speed, and the characteristics of what great players look like. And that's where I lean on Mario, because he knows college football. I know great athletes. I've seen these. I always wondered. The funniest thing is for me is I've always wondered what these guys look like in high school. You know what I mean? So now I've seen all these guys in the NFL the last 25 years. You know what one of my favorite hobbies is to do is to go back and look at high school tape of DK Metcalf. I go back and look what Stephon Diggs looked like in high school. And that's real fun to do. And you get a better idea of what it looks like. When you see a great player in high school, you go, okay, this is the guy. So, that's all part of it. It's all part of the transition in itself, learning the college game.
And knowing what great players look like, I'm sure you have positive thoughts of every recruit that's come in and every transfer. But who has been some of the guys that stood out the most to you?
Oh man, when I watched Francis Malgola last year, and I watched Ruben Bain, and I watched Ray Joseph. The first time I ever saw Ray, I'm standing out here at camp. He makes this crazy catch over his shoulder. I'm like, who's this kid? And it doesn't change. Talent's talent, and if you understand what it looks like, it's easy to see.
What about character as well, Alonzo? Because I know you can watch a player actually on the field in person on film, but what are some of the characteristics you look for off the field?
One of the biggest characters I look for is he a good person. You got to be a good person, and along with being a good person because he loved playing football. You know, one of the ones similar trait to all great players is they love playing football. They love the game of football. They love the practice. They love the process. They love the weight room. School's important to them. And the only way we're going to get better at this program is getting those type of people. And Mario's adamant about bringing in those type of guys. Tough, smart, love the game of football. Because that's how I was. That's how Jonathan Vilmo was. That's how Andre Johnson was. The apple doesn't fall far from great football players. There's very similar tracks in all of them. And it's usually the one common denominator in all of them. They love the game of football. They love practice. They love the process. There's nothing they wouldn't do to be a great football player. If we can find those type of kids, we'll be better.
Thank you.